everyone, welcome back to day 4, and we're going to be focusing on math and telling time. The first thing we're going to do is go over our vocab words to get us started for our lesson. As I say the vocab word, you will repeat back after me. We have clock, analog, which this is an example of an analog time, digital, and this is an example of digital time. Remember yesterday I asked you to go look around your house to see if you could find if you had any analog clocks. So some of you may have found an analog clock, like I have one in my kitchen, and I also have one in my living room. And then I asked you to go around the house and see if you could find anything that shows a digital time. So I noticed that when I went in my kitchen this morning, my stove and my microwave show a digital time, as well as the box for my television. Hour hand, which is the short hand on the clock, and minute hand, which is the long hand on the clock. So we're going to be working on a worksheet focusing using our hour hand and our minute hand to tell us what time it is located on the clock. So what I'd like you to do is I would like you to get out this assignment called Penguin Time, telling time 5-minute intervals. And you'll see at the bottom there's going to be all different times in digital. So we see all the analog times up top. What you're going to do is you're going to pause this video while you cut out your answers at the bottom. Mine are already cut out, so once you're done cutting out your answers, remember if you need help cutting, you may ask an adult. If you use a highlighter like I do at class, you can have a parent or an adult or an older sibling highlight those lines to help you cut better. Once you're done cutting out all your answers, you can resume the video. So right now I'd like you to pause it so then everything is already cut out and you're ready to complete the worksheet. When you're done cutting everything out, you can press play back on the video. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at each of the analog clocks together, okay? And we're going to glue the digital time below. But before we do that, I'd like to go over and count by 5s around the clock. Remember, it might be hard for you to see, but we're going to count by 5s. Each number represents a minute as well as an hour. So if we start at the number 12, we know the minutes would be 00 because that's going to be on the hour. So I'm going to count by 5s all the way around the clock till I get back to 0. And you can repeat after me. Those are going to be indicating our minutes. All of the outer numbers will be our minutes. All of the inner numbers are going to be referred to our hours. So starting by counting 5 with our minutes. 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and back at 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do the first 5 with you as a model and guided practice. Once we're done with the first 5, the first 4, then you are going to finish the last 8 on your own. So we're only going to do the first 4 together. We're going to practice. So if we look at the first clock and we find the hour hand, which is the short hand, the hour hand is between the 6 and the 7, but closest to the 6. So I know that the time is 6 something. My minute hand, right here, which is my long hand, is pointing on the 5. I know that the number 5 for minutes represents 25. So I know that my hour hand is 6 and my minute hand is 25, indicating that this time is going to show me 6:25. So we're looking for this, 6:25. So I'm going to find 6:25 in my digital time, which I have here, and I'm going to glue it right below the analog time. So I'm going to take my glue, and if you don't have glue, you can use tape. I'm going to glue it below my analog time. So it's going to look like this when I'm finished, indicating it is 6:25. is going to be our first answer. I'm going to erase this so we can move on to our second clock. So over here, if I look at my second clock, I know that the shorthand is the hour hand. So I'm always going to look for the hour hand first to see where it is placed on my clock. My hour hand is just right directly above the 11. So I know that the hour has to be 11. So I'm going to write that here. I know my hour has to be 11. Now I'm going to look for the long hand, which indicated the minute hand. And I know my minute hand is on the 2. So when I go back to reference my clock, I know that the 2 represents 10 for minutes. So my clock is showing me that the time over here is 11:10. 11:10. So I'm going to find 11:10 on my digital time and then glue it below. So now yours should read 11:10 below. I'm going to erase that. And now we're going to look at our third clock. Remember, always starting with the hour hand, the shorthand, so you know that what hour you're looking for. So my shorthand for the hour hand is pointing on the 4, indicating that my hour is 4 something. So I'm going to write that here so we just know. So 4 something. Now my minute hand, which is my long hand, is pointing directly at the 3. So I know for the 3 represents 15 in minutes. So my time shown here is 4:15. 4:15. So I'm going to find that digital time, 4:15, and put it right below that analog time. So now both my clocks match with the answer 4:15. And the last one that we're going to do together before I have you try the rest on your own, we're going to look at this clock. And I'm going to first find my shorthand, which is my hour hand. Now my hour hand is between the 9 and the 10, but closest to the 9. So I know that the hour is going to be 9 something. So I'm looking for the time 9 something. And now I know that my minute hand, my long hand, is pointing directly on the 4. And I know that 4 represents 20 minutes. So my time here is 9:20. 9:20. So I'm going to look for that digital time so I can glue it right here. Which matches 9:20. So now what I would like you guys to do is I'd like you to have you complete the rest of the 8 problems on your own, trying your best. Making sure that you're looking for the hour hand, which is the shorthand, and then looking for the long hand, which is the minute hand, and then finding that digital time and putting it in the box below. If you need help from an adult, please ask for it, but I'd like you to try your best on your own. Remember, after you're done with your work, make sure that you're still practicing putting your first and last name at the top of your paper, and that you're going to put this completed paper in your folder that was given to you so you can bring it back to school when we return back to school, hopefully in May. So after you're done finishing math, I'd like you to then click on our reading video. See you in reading.